internet's being weird lately.
Good morning, and welcome to a special edition of the Sunday Sideline Report here on the Sports Insanity Network. I am Mark Old Up Skyhopper, and joined by Mike the Pun Master Rifkin and Danny Vice President Danny Boy Reginald. I'm the one starting it off unusually is because I am announcing a 1 month absence from the network as I will be having neck surgery tomorrow. I will not be on the podcast for a month. I will be doing all my stuff will be handled via writing and blogs. And for those of you who have sent emails, I do appreciate it. If there's something you want to hear, a certain topic, send it to me. I'm going to have plenty of time to write. But I appreciate everything. But now let's get to why we're all here and waiting. Football, it's Sunday. Mike, take us into it.
All right. We will dive on in. We have a London game we'll talk about in a few minutes. But let's start with Thursday night, which saw a competitive game for the most part. But the Baltimore Ravens go into Tampa and come out with a 27-22 victory. Lamar Jackson, 27 of 38 for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. Other side, Tom Brady, 26 of 44 for 325 yards and a touchdown. All right, let's just start with the overall game because I do want to go full picture on the Bucs in a minute. But let's start with the overall feel for what happened Thursday night.
I mean, the Lamar Jackson that has shown up the last 2 weeks has been a little bit of a mixture than what we're used to seeing. I mean, I expected this to be a prime night for Jackson to be running 15 to 20 times, to be honest. But it was kind of a nice surprise to see him stay in the pocket and pass more and get a little bit more usefulness out of that offense that was missing Mark Andrews and just so many different pieces. As for Tom Brady, as Mike said, we'll get into that in a few minutes, but you can see the collapse happening in Tampa Bay. Danny Boy.
What it seems like to me is that whether it's off the field issues or whether it's just pure arrogance and all the factors, Tom Brady does not have any command to that offense. They're not in sync. They're not gelling. And let's call it what it is. They're not acting like a team that wants to win. Excuse me, my God. So it's devastating to watch. Now, of course, things can always change, but it's incredibly devastating. By the way, can y'all hear me? I'm not sure. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So that's where I stand with it, and I'm just stunned with it. On the Ravens side, what we're seeing out of Lamar, even though he didn't have a perfect game, but he had probably one of his best all season. And that's a good sign if you're the Ravens. You try and make a nice playoff push. This is a game where you absolutely need it. Now you get a full-on break for about 10 days, and you can move forward and try to build a team to even better winners.
And the Ravens next week, well, actually, they do get a long break because they play Monday night next week. They'll play the Saints. But I think, Mark, something you said also, because Mark Andrews left this game. I think it was due to a shoulder. I'm not 100% on that. Rashad Bateman left the game with a foot issue. And those are the top 2 guys for this offense, receiving-wise. And then an unlikely guy steps up, and that's rookie tight end Isaiah Likely, 6 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown.
I'm liking him.
I think Lamar likes him too, and I think John Harbaugh likes him. the more receiving threats the Ravens have, because we all know they can run the ball, whether it's Lamar, the Gus Bus, whoever it is, J.K. Dobbins when he returns. The question everyone had was, how can the Ravens move the ball through the air if it's not Mark Andrews? They're starting to figure that out. And once they figure that out, they become more of a dangerous team than they already are.
The question was, why trade Hollywood Brown?
Well, you got first round pick. I mean, if you're
I mean, it's not saying you didn't get equal compensation, but he's the one guy that Lamar had, besides Andrews, really had complete sync with. So it just seemed like an unnecessary trade, even though they were going to be keeping Lamar for past this contract. So,
well, they're 5-3, and I don't think they're complaining about it. Flip side it, the Bucks again, another. I want to say it's a bad loss because the Ravens are a good team. But it's the first time in a long time where Tom Brady's lost 3 in a row. Or 2 in a row, whatever it is. This team has problems. And it doesn't just stand with Tom Brady. This defense has problems of its own. And that was the big reason why I think a lot of people loved them this year, even with 45-year-old Tom Brady. This defense was supposed to make plays. They're not right now. And offensively, Brady's not on the same page as his offensive line or his receivers. And that comes down to one guy, Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles was handed this team, and the engine has not started for them.
yeah, but Tom Bowles was handed the team before the biggest crisis on that team was announced. And that's with Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen. I mean, that you can't tell me is not playing into
it's
better than.
It's playing with his struggles for sure. Like, you can't tell me that it's not affecting his football.
Oh, it is.
But it doesn't mean that Todd Bowles can't get this team together. And Todd Bowles is a defensive coach, and their defense is atrocious. So that's not good. It's not a good sign.
I mean, you would equivocate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be the all-star team that the LA Dodgers are in baseball. This should be a team that should be, without a doubt, at the top of that division, unquestionably, but a considered playoff favorite every year. And right now, whether, like Mike said, the engine is inspiring, or like Dan and I said, that off the field problems, going back to Antonio Brown all the way up to now with Tom and Gisele, this whole team is being affected by it one way or another.
Yeah. The divorce was finalized on Friday, by the way. For those who need to know, but
don't worry, you'll be able to read the breakdown of it by the middle of this week. That's going to become public information very fast.
God.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, but it will be.
By the way, how in the world can you play on a Thursday night, the night before you finalize your divorce? It's irresponsible for your well-being and for the team's well-being. It's another way of just causing distractions. I don't know if you guys agree, but it's like,
I do. I'm thinking of the kids. Forget about him and Gisele. It's the kids who are going to suffer.
Yeah.
In all this.
I still wish he would have retired after they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Or
that was for me. That was the perfect send off for him.
Or take Giselle's ultimatum now: retire or I'm gone. okay, football, I'm done with. There's nothing more he can really accomplish.
And by the way, he's got the Fox gig ready for him when he's done.
He's just trying to show he's wearing the pants in the family when actually he doesn't.
Listen, Father Time is undefeated for a reason. And look, Tom Brady could still sling it, and he's still Tom Brady. But at the end of the day, he's not helping his team win. And this team, it may only get worse. They play the Rams next week. Then they got to go to Germany and play the Seahawks.
In Germany?
In Germany.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
You know, they still got to play the Niners and the Bengals and other
Is it
teams.
called the Beer Bowl? Considering it's
they're calling it the Brat Bowl.
I'm just saying, the Bucks have a tough road ahead if they think that this is going to continue and they're going to win, because this formula is not going to win them anything.
It's not, and they lost Shaq Barrett in this game. He's done for the year with a torn Achilles. That's a blow to this defense that's already struggling. Offensive, I don't know what you do to change things up for this team. I don't know. And people could say it's the line, it's this, it's that. It's everything. It's everything. That's what's wrong with the Buccaneers. They're muffing punts on special teams. Defense right now isn't stopping anybody or coming up with big plays. Offensively, Mike Evans is dropping wide open touchdowns, or Tom's underthrowing someone. They don't run the ball well. These are all facts about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that I don't think anyone thought we'd say during week 8. But, see if the Bucs could turn it around. They play the Rams next week in a rematch of the NFC divisional playoff.
They ain't winning that game.
Who knows? The Rams have their own issues unless they solved them during the bye week. We'll talk about them in a little bit. But we have a London game going right now, which has the Jaguars up 7-0 over the Broncos. Trevor Lawrence has a touchdown pass to Giant legend Evan Ingram, and both quarterbacks have thrown an interception.
Yeah, I think it was Lawrence just intercepted in the end zone.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad throw. I don't know what he was doing there.
Just run the ball.
Well, that's what you trade James Robinson to the Jets, showing you have all this confidence in Travis Etienne not to give him the ball on the goal line.
Or run the ball with Trevor Lawrence. I don't care.
Right.
Run the ball. The two things I have noticed trend-wise, teams are loving to throw it on the goal line, and teams are done with their kickers because there's too many opportunities where teams are just going for it on 4th down when they're in field goal range. So those are two noticeable things. But matchup of 2-5 teams here with the Broncos and the Jags. I mean, I don't know what to say about the Broncos. I rip them every week. So
the most disappointing franchise of this year.
It is kind of shocking that the Broncos are in the position they are. What was supposed to be a tough AFC West, it's really not that tough. But we expected the Broncos to be far better than what they are. What's more concerning is the fact that Russell Wilson is not playing up to his potential. And I know he's a much older guy. I know he can't scramble as fast as he used to. I know probably doesn't have the greatest receiving core, but you should still make plays. Like this AFC, as the Jets have proven week after week, this AFC is not as good. This NFC is not as good. This whole NFL is overrated. So you expect the Broncos to at least have 3 wins at this point, and they're stuck at 2-5, and it's a blow. It's a really big blow right now. And they're playing a London game. They just punted again, to the lowly Jags. It's kind of devastating to watch. And I feel bad for the Bronco fan. I really do.
Think about this. They extended Russell Wilson before the season with that 5-year, it was $230 million or whatever it was.
They saw something in that we didn't see, right?
Yeah.
And they're apparently still seeing it.
And now he's playing like this, and it's not good. It's not good. And you're right. We thought the AFC West would be better, but Denver's got 2 wins. The Raiders have 2 wins. The Chargers are banged up and they don't win close games. And it's the Chiefs division again to lose, but and think about Denver's 2 wins for a second. The Texans, who are probably the worst team in the NFL. And if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't step out of the end zone for a safety, they probably lose that game too.
Yeah, boy.
So, I mean, so right now that's 7-0 over in London with the Jags leading the Broncos. All right. The trade deadline for the NFL is Tuesday. We've already seen a couple of moves, including Christian McCaffrey. Speaking of the Broncos, according to Adam Schefter, Bradley Chubb has a lot of interest, but they will not be moving any of their receivers. And according to NFL Network, the Saints are looking for a Christian McCaffrey type package in order to trade Alvin Kamara. So,
well, you have to. Kamara's rookie deal and extension deal, which one it was, is almost up, and all sites point to the fact that he will not be back in New Orleans. So you might as well try to get whatever you can for him now.
well, I also think it speaks to another thing. If you give me a second, I'm going to look up the contract in a second. Maybe it's time the Saints realize it's time to rebuild this thing. Because Sean Payton's gone. Drew Brees is gone. Eventually, Cam Jordan and Demario Davis are going to be gone. So maybe get out ahead of this and let's retool the draft picks around Chris Olave and whatever they're going to get for Kamara.
I mean, as things looking, we say it's going to be C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young 1 and 2 right now. Could the Saints do everything they possibly can to go get one of these 2 guys to start their?
Well, they don't even have their own first-round pick right now. That belongs
to
the Eagles.
Right, that's true. Forgot about that.
All right, so Kamara looks like he's under contract until 2026.
Oh, then he just signed the extension.
He signed a deal in 2017.
Was it that long of a deal?
Signed a 4-year deal. I guess they worked through. Give me 1 second. Let me double check that they got this right.
About to say, I know his rookie deal was up, and that he did.
Yes, okay. So he has a potential out after 2023.
Okay.
But after that, he's not technically out till 2026.
Got it. Okay. So you have to think at the end of next year, unless the Saints are in prime position to control a playoff run, Alvin Kamara is not going to be back with New Orleans.
I wouldn't think so. I think a lot of those guys you're going to see get moved. Cam Jordan, maybe Demario Davis. Michael Thomas feels like more of an off-season deal just because he's been hurt again this year. You know, that would be my guess, but I don't know what the Saints are thinking. But those are some names to watch.
No, could use Demario Davis.
There's a lot of teams that could use a Demario Davis and Cam Jordan, who's still an elite pass
You know who
rusher.
could really use Demario Davis? His rightful home in Green, baby. Bring him back to Green all day.
Didn't he play? He played for Rex, didn't he?
Believe so. Yeah. He was on the Jets for a long time.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of teams who could use a tackling machine like that. But yeah.
Now they don't Jets don't need him, but they could definitely use him.
Oh yeah. I think personally, I think a team like the Giants could use him too.
Yeah, doesn't I mean they're banged up on defense, so they could.
They really what they really need is a receiver, but that's a whole nother conversation. Oh. But they are 6-1, and they go and play the 4-3 Seahawks today. And I wouldn't say this is important, but the Seahawks right now are in first place in the NFC West.
And how that is beyond me, but hats off to Geno Smith on the flip around on that.
Yeah, Geno. I'm going to say this. I don't want this to be viewed as a hot take. It's just how I feel. I think this game, the Giants and the Seahawks, I think right now, these are the top two candidates for Coach of the Year. Because no one expected anything from either of them.
You got to give credit to Dabble on what he's done with the Giants. I mean, he's got him it's a winning attitude. And when you have a positive attitude, your team's just going to play better. So I also like the fact the way they dumped Tony to get rid of a possible problem over time. So something's going right in New York. Something's going right in New York.
Yeah, well, on top of Dable, they're asking Daniel Jones to make big plays. And again, this Giants team, I've been saying it all year, this Giants team really isn't that good, but they're well coached. And the quarterback is making big plays, big time plays that are either saving games or extending leads and stuff. Like, and look, all these games have been at least one possession at the end. So again, the Giants have to earn those victories, but they're winning. So it's a big coaching culture, definitely, and we gotta give props to the quarterback as well for taking charge. Defense too. Defense has come up huge.
Well, I mean, think about last week that they get legitimately a goal line stand to win that game against the Jags. And so I think, Dan, your point on Daniel Jones is fair, very fair, because the key to him has been he turned the ball over way too much in the past couple of years. He's not turning the ball over as much right now. That's huge. Saquon Barkley being healthy has been big. And then the defense has made plays on every level. The secondary, the front. You get as great of a hire as Brian Dable was, Wink Martindale's right there with him as well. So flip it to the Seahawks, 4-3. first place in the NFC West. Mark, you talked about Geno, and he deserves a lot of credit. And Kenneth Walker stepped in too after Rashad Penny went down. And
23 with a buck
ooh-wee.
84 last week. I think it was.
Let's double check it. So it was week 7.
Yeah, right.
The Seahawks went into, I want to say San Diego, but they went to LA and they stomped the Chargers. A buck 67 and 2 touchdowns last week for
Buck
Kenneth
67.
Walker.
What a game. And those holes are not going to be as big in the Giants defense, but they have to take the shots when they got them, because the Giants do have a very talented young defensive line and linebacking crew. I'm not going to take that out. Kayvon Thibodeau has really shined this year. So, and with the loss of DK Metcalf today, I mean,
They're saying he might play now.
wait, what?
There is a report saying he may play today.
Did not practice all week. Not that he really needs to practice to play.
Let me get the tweet up, make sure I'm not being fooled, but I believe I read something that he might play today.
If he plays, that's ridiculous.
Okay. This is from Ian Rappaport 8 hours ago. Seahawks receivers Tyler Lockett, hamstring ribs, is considered to be a game-time decision. Source said, though there's some optimism, he goes, Seattle may dress extra receivers regardless. As for DK Metcalf, he practiced on Friday, and there's a good chance he plays today.
Got to be more of a decoy move. Why risk your future right then and there? Probably one of the most talented receivers in football right now. Went out last week with an apparent leg injury, and he's that was considered serious enough that he wasn't going to need surgery, and now he's going to play. I don't get it. It's not like you're 8-0 here.
I mean, the Bengals just did the same thing with Jamar Chase. They're saying 4 to 6 weeks, but they're just rolling him out for this week. But
yeah, I know they didn't IR. They did
not IR him.
So I mean, I don't know what's going on with the injury mentality in the NFL, but if you're going to get an injury and need rest, now's the part of the season where you want to at least experiment with that, now that it's a longer season.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait till about 4:25 to see if DK actually plays or not. We have a big one in Atlanta, too. The Panthers and the Falcons. I never thought I'd say those words, but it's for first place in the NFC South.
Of course it is, because the NFC South, what a god-awful division that is, you can probably get 5 games and win that division.
You're probably right.
That's how bad it is.
They're both 4-3 going today, Atlanta and Carolina, right?
Atlanta's 3-4 and Carolina's 2-5.
Okay. Wow, I was way off.
Matt Rule is sitting at home right now and going, I got fired, even though we're playing for first place today.
I mean, all eyes has to be on DJ Moore today, I would think.
Yeah.
That Atlanta porous secondary. So
someone's got to make plays for both those teams.
Hey, the biggest surprise is the underusage of Kyle Pitts. Such a talented drafted rookie, and has not yet really been able to show what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, Drake London has been pretty good when used, but I still feel like Atlanta's using Mariota here, but he's not the long-term guy. I think everyone knows that. but you're right in the sense of how they use Pitts. It's just, why would you take him number 4 if you're not going to use him?
Mm-hmm. I mean, Evan Ingram gets used more than Kyle Pitts right now, and that's saying a lot. And Evan Ingram has a touchdown today, more than what Kyle Pitts has on the season, I believe.
I mean, Daniel Bellinger was getting used more than Kyle Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I may have the same amount of catches as Kyle Pitts today. Who knows?
I caught my son falling off the bed because he likes to. Does that count?
I'm not touching that one. Not touching that. But Panthers, Falcons. That's for first place in the NFC South. We also have the Cardinals at the Vikings today. 1:00. The Vikings look to go to 6-1.
Well, I don't think with Dirk Cousins they're going to get to 6-1. I think this is Arizona's game.
Really? I love the Vikings.
I think this is DeAndre Hopkins made a nice return to the NFL last week with a 10 reception game for 100 yards. The only thing missing from that stat line was a touchdown. I think
I know my fantasy team would have appreciated that.
I think he has multiple today. I think he has 2 touchdowns. I say he still has the same amount of receptions, 10, but I think around 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. Big day for DeAndre Hopkins today.
I'll go other side. I think a big day for Justin Jefferson.
See, and I can understand and see that as well with the Arizona secondary as well. If you lay both teams out, yes, Minnesota has Dalvin Cook, and that's really the balance shifter in all of it. But I think both teams are equal going into the game.
I think at 3 and 4, Kyler's got to start making some plays for the Cardinals. Show someone like me who hasn't believed in you, Kyler Murray. Show someone like me why you got your contract extension.
Still trying to figure that out.
Me too. That and Kingsbury. Hate them both. Hate both extensions. All right. And then we got the Niners and the Rams, which
will be a fun showdown, but should go San Francisco's way.
Yeah, they own the Rams. No Debo today, though. So
I did not get that.
Yeah, Debo's out with a hamstring. So,
Shit.
But rematch of the NFC title game. Loser of that game falls to 3 and 5.
Who I would never have said that about either one of those teams.
Right.
Well, maybe San Francisco, but before the Garoppolo move, but not LA.
Yeah. So that should be a fun one. And then Sunday Night Football. I'm going to say this, and this is with all due respect. And I know our fearless leader, president, isn't here.
No, he's playing with his putts.
It's going to be a funeral because the Packers are going to be turned into melted cheese.
Oh, yeah, I expect a lot of big game out of that tonight, especially out of Josh Allen.
Before we continue, 10-7 in London, the Broncos just scored Jerry Jeudy from 6 yards out from Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a touchdown.
It's a touchdown. It's fantasy points for me. Thank you,
it's
Jerry.
It's not in America, but it counts.
It's not in America, but it counts. But
oh my God.
Of all the games today, mind you, yes, I'm very happy to know that the Dallas-Chicago game is going to be played here in New York at 1:00. I'm actually going to have the Jet-New England game up here on picture-in-picture because I want Zach Wilson to go off and just just get his just due against this New England team. Show why you should be the number one team behind Buffalo Bills.
Well, I don't think it's going to be him that goes off. As a matter of fact, I'm actually very concerned about Zach Wilson, only because Elijah Vera Tucker, their best offensive lineman, is out for the season because of his triceps. So, not saying that I don't have any confidence in the other ones, but he was the best. Like he gave Zach Wilson a lot of protection. I want this coaching staff to have designed plays for Wilson. It means he has to do an option, or if he has to scramble out, then throw, or if he has to do end arounds to Barrios, whatever, fine. But he cannot be throwing in the pocket. He stinks. He's just going to be out there scrambling because he doesn't know what to do. So I'm a little concerned about that. But
I thought that play last week in Denver was a fumble too, by the way.
Yeah. So the Jets on paper are better than the Patriots, but I'm not entirely confident. So if they win, I want to beat the crap out of the Patriots, but I'm seeing more of a closer game than a lot of people are thinking. And the Jets are underdogs.
Yeah, that's the one I don't get. I don't get it because one, they're at home.
Yeah.
But two, what have you seen from New England that makes you say we could give them the points? The only reason you're doing it is it's Bill Belichick, but Mac Jones is starting. After what I saw Monday night, I don't have much confidence in that.
Yeah.
I hate the Patriot receivers. They're not, no disrespect, but they're not the elite of the elite. The Patriot defense just got run over by the Bears. So
the Bears.
So what are you seeing? For me, this is a huge game. You say Zach Wilson. I'm going to say Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
You need to go out and win this game. Your defense needs to go out and win this game and show off like they've done most weeks.
Yeah. Now, I know Robert Saleh. I'll get you in second to Lopes guy. Remembers that New England game last season where the Patriots just completely ran up the score on a Jets team that lost Zach Wilson for a while. Then had to go to Mike White, who's not ready to play in that game. So, yeah, I think you are right, Mike, in the sense that, Robert Saleh is going to go after Bill Belichick, and he's going to make it pay. It's whether or not the team actually does it for him.
And Robert Saleh, that's the receipt you got to keep. Mm-hmm. Don't care about what the fan base says. Don't care about what the people on sports talk radio say. You care about what happened last year against the Patriots when they ran it down your throat twice.
Oh, that's guy.
Is this the end of Bill Belichick in New England?
I think he still goes down on his own terms. I don't know when he wants to stop.
I think he wants to break the record for wins, and then he leaves. But that's got to be 3 years away, maybe. Okay. But I don't know.
The reason why I say this is because obviously the goat that brought the ring home is gone. Mac Jones was a great surprise last year, played spectacular. Call this the sophomore slump because this is what it is. But is Mac Jones a one-year bust, or will we see a resurgence next season?
You talk about one-hit wonders. Like, this might be it for Mac Jones. I don't want it to be. I think Mac Jones is a pretty smart guy, and I think he can work in pretty much any offense, but he's struggling big time to a point where Zappy had to go in. And by the way, Zappy, how well did he do on Monday against the Bears?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so these are things that we have to consider too.
I wouldn't have played Mac Jones Monday because Bailey Zappi had played well against Cleveland. And well, once he came in, it should have been his job to lose.
Right.
Or unless Mac's ready to go. But weather conditions for me looked like rainy, cold, bad night in New England. Why risk Mac long term in that game? But I think for years the Patriots got away with doing we have Tom Brady so we could have lesser skilled position guys until they got the Welkers and the Randy Mosses and the Edelmans. But I think they want to go back. They've gone back to that approach, and it's just not working. They don't have to win in today's NFL. You need at least one game breaker on the outside.
Yeah.
They don't have that. They're still trying to play old school football in the new school NFL. And they don't have a guy who breaks the game open. They don't have a game-changing quarterback. And as much as I respect Bill, and I have a ton of respect for him, to have Joe Judge and Matt Patricia as your offensive coaches is just, it's not a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. Get a real offensive coach in there.
Yeah. Well, let's be real. Everything goes through Bill.
Yeah.
And so it's just filler. Like Josh McDaniels was filler. You really think about it. So
I think that's why he left, because I think Josh McDaniels was the guy in waiting for Bill to leave, and then it'd be his team. Then this happened. Then he, wasn't going to worry. But now he's in Vegas, which is another team that's kind of a mess.
And they have a fun matchup with New Orleans today, but I see Las Vegas winning that one.
I do too. Andy Dalton's playing again for the Saints.
Yeah.
So
as long as Chris Olave keeps doing Chris Olave things, I'll be happy.
Yeah, he's been great. He's probably been the best rookie receiver.
I was about to say you have to consider him as front point for Rookie of the Year.
Well, it would have been Breece Hall had he not gotten hurt.
Still, my heart goes out to that kid.
Yeah, that it definitely hurts. It definitely hurts a lot.
Yeah, so there's that. I want to just go back to the Sunday night game really quick because it's the Packers, it's the Bills, and I said the Packers were going to be melted cheese after this. But Aaron Rodgers said something after last week's game against Washington that really kind of caught my eye, and he talked about the best thing for the Packers was everyone's going to be picking against them this week. No one's giving them a chance, so on and so forth. Now, I think he was trying to pump his team up, but at the same time, I think he was calling out his front office because national television, this has, I don't know if you guys remember the Monday night game where Brady was with New England and they went into KC and they got thumped like 45-10 or something like that. That's what this team has written all over it for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. It says blowout written all over it, embarrassed on national television.
Now, of course, with someone like me, I'm hoping it's not a blowout. I'm hoping it's actually a Packers win because if the Jets win and the Packers win, it's first place for the Jets.
Right. I understand
But
that.
of course, that's just a personal rooting interest, of course.
Yeah.
Realistically, this is not a good matchup for the Packers. The Packers are far out from what they used to be. And Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if it's because of the offense, I don't know if it's because of the coaching, maybe something's wrong with that. But it's not the identity of the Packers that we've come to know over the past 2-3 decades. It's tough to watch. It really is tough to watch.
Yeah, I made this proclamation on Wishbone this week. Go check it out wherever you get your podcasts. But I think this is Aaron Rodgers' last year as a Packer. And I'm not going to say he retires after the season because I don't think he wants to go out like this. I think he finds his way out. He's going to go somewhere else, try to win one more Super Bowl, and then he'll go off into the sunset. But I think this is frustration for him. I think it's finally boiled over where he doesn't trust anybody. They drafted 2 receivers. Well, Christian Watson can't get on the field. Dobbs has been okay. This is what you replaced Devontae Adams with?
Right.
They could be the straw that broke the camel's back there. But we'll have to see. But not looking forward to that on a Sunday night.
Yeah, it's a terrible Sunday night matchup. Like
Yeah.
they need to there are a few games out there that should have been flexed Sunday night, and once again, the NFL just refuses to do it because they play favorites.
Yeah, in reality, the Niners Rams should be your Sunday night game.
Yeah, I was some type of good divisional matchup. I would even have said the Giants and the Seahawks move it to Sunday night.
Or the Panthers and the Falcons. Everyone wants to watch it. Everyone wants to watch the Panthers and the Falcons. All right.
It's just some bad football today.
God, it's brutal all season.
I believe there's a Sunday night Thursday night. You got the Eagles and the Texans. That should be a fun one.
Look, I am rooting for the Steelers today. I think this Philadelphia Eagle team can be gotten to. They just have to get some of those steel girders and put it on Jalen Hurts' legs, and that's how they'll do it. Jalen Hurts has just been playing phenomenal football.
Well,
and they're coming off the bye week.
They're coming off the bye, exactly. I'm wondering how they're going to respond after that week off and stuff. Like, what's that going to be like?
And also the fact that one thing that the NFL has to change going into next year is how early certain teams' bye weeks are. I mean, to have a bye week in the 4th or 5th week and then have to play 11, 12 straight games without, come on. Bye week should have to start after week 7.
Wasn't there talks of if they were to expand it to 18 weeks or whatever? There was talks of 2 bye weeks.
Don't know. And not sure.
Okay. I could be misinformed. It wouldn't be the first time, wouldn't be the last
time. The Super Bowl would be later, right?
The Super Bowl would end up being end of February now.
Yeah.
So. I mean, I don't know why that would matter. They only play the Super Bowl in warm climates or retractable roof stadiums anyway, for the most part.
Right. But the later and later.
My point is that there'll be, because you have 18 games and 2 buys, and that's 20 weeks of football in the regular season or so?
Well, maybe that's when they were pushing for the expanded schedule. I could be wrong again.
We'll see as the schedule pans out. But right now, if you were to add another bye week, football would end. The Super Bowl would end of February, and we'd be getting right into Baseball immediately, right back into football 2.5 months later. I have no problem with that personally, because that means football all year round for me. My wife would divorce me, but I mean, I'll take it.
Oh man. All right. Um, we kind of talked about the trade deadline before, so we don't have to hit on that. Mark, did you put this thing in at the bottom?
Probably. What did I put in?
Which conference has the better
Yes.
odds?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess at this point, which conference has the better odds of winning the Super Bowl? I mean, I think it's the AFC.
I think it's the NFC. I think
Really?
the AFC has proven that some of these superstar unbeatable teams are really beatable.
See, I don't know, because right now I think there's potentially, I think there's 3 teams in the NFC. There's the Eagles, there's the Cowboys, there's the Niners, because the other 3, the Packers, Rams, Bucks, I'm going to push them off to the side because they're not there yet. Those are the only 3 teams I could see in the NFC. The AFC, the Bills, the Chiefs. I know the Chargers are really banged up, but the Bengals look like they just started to get going. Baltimore's really good. I think you have more depth in the AFC.
If you keep playing the way it's being played right now, you would have 3 teams from the NFC East in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Who would have ever said that in the beginning of the season?
The Giants play the Chiefs or the Bills next week. Who you taking?
I'm taking the Bills.
Okay.
I'm taking the Bills. Nothing against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They're a good football team. I just think the Bills have it a little bit more together and a little bit more firepower now.
Oh, I just meant if the Giants were to play either one. That was it.
No, it's the Bills. To cut a long story short,
the Chiefs laid a whooping on the Niners last week.
Yeah, it's the fact is the NFC East, as what we used to call the NFC leads, was never expected to be this good this year. Okay, it's about time. I mean, that it's the leading division in the NFC football run. But let's be 100% honest. The strength of schedules, if you look at it, this should be an easy run-in for Dallas now. Yeah, they lost to the Tampa Bay Bucks, but nobody expected Daniel Jones to stay on his feet and not turn over the ball. And for Jalen Hurts not to be hurting so much that he's actually not lost. I mean, it's a nice surprise, but we'll see.
Dan, any thoughts?
I mean, I still think the AFC is tougher. For sure. Nothing against the NFC. There's just no clear-cut winner in the NFC right now. I mean, maybe the Eagles, but the competition stinks.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, because the Eagles play the Steelers today, and then they play Dallas again, I believe, in December. Am I right on that, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah. So Philly, the only remaining undefeated team. They play their in-state rivals, and I'm going to say it right now, they should win.
You would think so.
Yeah, I watched Pittsburgh last week. Defense is still there, but
the offense is nowhere near anywhere.
Yeah, so Philly's upcoming schedules. Pittsburgh did get today. Houston on Thursday night. Then they get a long week, and then next Monday night they play Washington. at Indy, Green Bay, Tennessee, at the Giants, at Chicago, at Dallas, New Orleans, the Giants again to close out the season. So I think the best chance probably of a loss might be that Indy game, but I don't know what Indy's doing now since Matt Ryan's been benched for Sam Ellinger.
It's just a cluster for the Indianapolis Colts and Matt Ryan, unfortunately. Jonathan Taylor, Thomas, only the really good bright eye there, along with Michael Pittman.
1 touchdown for Jonathan Taylor, but
yeah,
I don't know. But everyone, enjoy a great Sunday of football. Hope you enjoyed today's edition of the Sunday Sideline Report on the Sports Insanity Network's YouTube channel. Follow all Sports Insanity Network stuff on Twitter and Facebook. Go to the website www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com for blogs, vlogs, planes, trains, and automobiles. And for Mark Goldop, Sky Halpern, Danny Boy, Reginald Dayrines, I'm Mike Rifke. Enjoy the football today. Have a great Sunday. Happy Halloween. And namaste.
Eat plenty of candy.
And candy corn is legit, people.
no candy for me, but plenty of anesthesia.
Oh, Marvin.
It's a different kind of high.
Yes.